You're making a suggestion for why DeWanna Bonner maybe left the Indiana Fever, and her logic, her reasoning is crazy if true.
All right, gather round. Let's peel back the curtain on a story that's been simmering under the surface and just hit the boiling point. What happened between Dana Bonner and the Indiana Fever isn't just a bump in the road. It's a full-blown plot twist. At first glance, Bonner's exit looked like another day at the office. A seasoned vet, 37 years old, cut after 9 games. It seemed like just another chapter closing. But behind the scenes, there's more than meets the eye. When the Fever signed Bonner, they weren't just looking for another warm body. They were banking on a steady hand to guide the ship.
DeWanna Bonner's situation is one of the most unprofessional things I have ever seen in any level of professional sports, and it has to be addressed. If you're not familiar, DeWanna Bonner is cut from the Indiana Fever. We have just waived her, and we've brought back Ari McDonald. DeWanna Bonner has not played in the last few Indiana Fever games, and we were all thinking it was because of personal reasons. And all us Indiana Fever fans were thinking it was something big. I even said on a few of my live streams, hey,
someone who could bring wisdom and poise to a locker room brimming with youthful energy. Especially with Caitlin Clark, the league's newest golden child, front and center. But here's the kicker. What looked like a match made in heaven turned out to be oil and water. Sources say Bonner had already mentally packed her bags before the official release. She cited personal reasons, but insiders are whispering something else.
Yesterday, that DeWanna Bonner had no intention of coming back to the Indiana Fever. So initially we were wondering, hey, what is the reason? And the media has been feeding us this lie. The main reason why DeWanna Bonner is dipping out is because she wants to be in a starting position, and maybe she's mad about Lexi Holt outperforming her. Maybe she's mad about the fact that she's not getting the position of Natasha Howard on the team, and she's just been benched because she has not been playing well. They've also been saying that the fit is not well because she is a very slow player in a team that likes to play really fast. These are good concerns, and these are true probably to a certain extent. But that's not the end of it. What they've been trying to hide is the fact that DeWanna Bonner is leaving to go play with her.
That the heat in the kitchen got a little too intense. Enter Christine Brennan, a journalist who doesn't beat around the bush. She dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves across the league. According to her,
So here's what she said about DeWanna Bonner.
Look at DeWanna Bonner, and there's reporting on her, and I don't have any inside reporting. So DeWanna Bonner was brought in by Stephanie White, the new coach, formerly a Fever player and coach as well, for the Fever, brought from Connecticut, and she wanted to bring her star veteran, 37-year-old DeWanna Bonner, as a stabilizing influence. A leader went out in 2 games in the playoffs, and they needed more depth and more leadership and more veteran savvy, etc. So that's the decision that Stephanie White makes. Within a couple of games, DeWanna Bonner is not playing well, and then she disappears, and then she's literally now gone and says she doesn't want to play, and she wants to trade, and
So
we'll see what's
weird.
with Phoenix and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but the little
We know up to that point. We know she was playing badly. She disappeared.
Bonner wasn't dealing with injuries. She wasn't swamped with family drama. She was overwhelmed. Not by age, not by skill, but by the noise, the spotlight, the frenzy, the Caitlin Clark effect.
It just was bad. It was just a bad fit. It was a bad all-around situation, and I think we can be completely honest about that. And it's fine that there's bad fits. It's fine. Not every player is ready to play for the Lakers. Not every player is ready to play for the Knicks. And I don't think that I'm going to go and kill a player for not being able to do that. Because let's be real, like, there's a lot of players in the league that aren't built for that. And I think one of the things that could be a good case scenario is if it's known that this is like, you know what, some players just can't deal with it.
Now, you'd think a player with 16 years under her belt would be cool as a cucumber in the spotlight. But as Brennan tells it, Bonner wasn't just out of her element, she was drowning in it. Bonner had dropped a clue early on. After one of her first home games with Indiana, she admitted she was shocked by the crowd. That's not something you expect from a 6-time All-Star, but this wasn't just any crowd. This was a Clark crowd. Sold out, fired up, louder than a thunderstorm in July. Here's the thing. Being on a team with Clark isn't just playing basketball. It's stepping onto a stage where every move is under the microscope. You can't fly under the radar. There's no room to hide. Some players rise to the occasion. Others get cold feet. And Bonner? Well, her game spoke volumes. Her stats dipped, her minutes shrank, her spark faded. Next thing we know, she's gone. Word on the street is the team's energy was shifting. The Fever started to find their rhythm, and as the saying goes, you either keep up or get left in the dust. There was no time for anyone to sit on their hands. What really raised eyebrows? Bonner showed no desire to ride the wave. With the spotlight burning bright and endorsement deals practically knocking on her door, she stayed in the shadows. No press, no ads, no hint of wanting to cash in. She simply bowed out, without so much as a whisper. To walk away now, when the stars were aligning and the bag was practically at her feet, well, that takes guts. Or maybe it means she had one foot out the door all along. If you made it this far, hit subscribe if you want to be the first to hear the truth behind the headlines. The Fever wasted no time. They brought in Ari McDonald to plug the gap and are keeping their eyes on the prize, the playoff race. But let's be real. Bonner's departure wasn't just a roster shakeup. It was a reality check. The WNBA is evolving, fast. The lights are brighter, the pressure's heavier, and with Caitlin Clark, everything is amplified tenfold. She's not just a rookie, she's the storm at the center of the league. Bonner posted a cryptic goodbye. A quitter? Never been that. But when the time comes, let the apologies be as loud as the disrespect. That message? Loaded. A mix of frustration and pride, like someone trying to walk away with their head held high, even after taking a punch to the gut. The truth behind the scenes? We may never know the full story, but one thing's certain, Indiana didn't just lose a player. They lost a voice, a presence, a steadying force who could have been their anchor, if only she'd weathered the storm. In sports, it's not always about the wins and losses. Sometimes, it's the what could have been that leaves the deepest scar. In the end, not every chapter ends with a buzzer beater or a standing ovation. Some players leave the court not with applause, but with questions hanging in the air. DiJonai Carrington's story with the Fever isn't just about basketball. It's a reminder that not everyone is built for the spotlight, and even the brightest stars can fade when the pressure becomes a storm. But one thing's for sure, in this new WNBA era, the game isn't just changing, it's evolving. And only those who can run with the wolves will survive the night. If you made it this far, you're not just a fan, you're a true student of the game, and I appreciate that. So if you want more stories like this, the ones that don't just tell you what happened, but why it matters, go ahead and smash that like button. And hit subscribe if you want to be the first to hear the truth behind the headlines. This isn't just another sports channel. This is where the game meets real talk, where the plays end and the stories begin. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and as always, keep your eyes on the court, but your mind on the game.